Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first Tangerang International Conference 2021. This conference organized by Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang and Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasikmalaya. This event also co-hosted by Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Muhammadiyah Cilengsi, Universitas Indonesia Timur Makassar, Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Kesehatan Bakti Tunas Husada Tasikmalaya, Universitas Langlang Buana Bandung, Universitas Tangerang Raya, and Akbar Harum Jakarta. Thank you so much for investing your time with us on beautiful Tuesday morning. My name is Meliana Nurfitriani from Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasikmalaya, and I'm your master of ceremony of this event today. Please allow me to extend our warmest greeting to our eminent guests. Excellencies, today's speakers, Muhammad Adam Jerusalem, PhD from Council for Higher Education, Research and Development Central Board of Muhammadiyah. Professor Dr. Sundarapandian Vidyanathan from Velteh University, India. Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Faisal Muhammad Ayub, Associate Professor in Mechanical Engineering, University Malaysia, Terengganu. Professor Madya Dr. Puspaliza binti Ghazali from University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia. Dr. Andi Mariam SSD SKM MKes from Universitas Indonesia Timur Makassar and Associate Professor Dr. Al-Bahra Eskom MKom from University Raharja. We are also very honored to have with us here this morning the Honorable Chairman of Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang, Profesor Dr. Haji Muhammad Kusmawan, MSc, MBA, GBA. The Honorable, the Chair of the Conference, Sartono STMT, the Chairperson of the Institute for Research and Community Services, Dr. Mujiarto STMT, all distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the organizer, we wish to extend our warm welcome and thank you to all local and foreign participants and distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin the opening ceremony with the blessings, I would like to invite Emroni to read the Holy Quran. Time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قيل لكم تفسحوا في المجالس إذا قيل لكم تفسحوا في المجالس فافسحوا يفسح الله لكم وإذا قيل انشزوا فانشزوا يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات والله بما تعملون خبير والله بما تعملون خبير صدق الله العظيم.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you to join us singing Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya, and continuing with Mars Muhammadiyah and Mars STT Muhammadiyah Tangerang.
teknologi mutu. Muhammadiyah, pengembang misi persyarikatan, pembentuk insan berakhlak mulia, sekolah tinggi teknologi mutu. Muhammadiyah turut membangun kekuatan umat sebagai dakwah kebesaran Islam. Mari kembangkan amal usaha demi gerakan Islam. Mari besarkan perburuan untuk kejayaan bangsa. Sekolah tinggi teknologi mutu. Muhammadiyah pencetak sarjana teknologi, bekerja untuk kemakmuran umat. Mari kembangkan usaha demi kejayaan Islam. Mari besarkan perburuan untuk kejayaan bangsa. Sekolah teknologi mutu. Muhammadiyah pencetak sarjana teknologi, bekerja untuk kemakmuran umat, bekerja untuk kejayaan.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the next agenda, we would like to invite the conference chair of the first Tangerang International Conference 2021 to deliver his welcoming speech. Please welcome the Honorable Sartono STMT to deliver his welcoming speech. Time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you. Dear Head of Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang and the Honorable Rector of all University as co-host in Tangerang International Conference, I want to say thank you to keynote speaker in the first Tangerang International Conference 2020 for you. Willingness to become the speaker in this conference and also to all the participants of the Tangerang International Conference. The first Tangerang International Conference provide an excellent international forum for sharing knowledge, result in theory, methodology, and application of science, engineering, technology, health, economic, social science, and humanities in theoretical and practical aspect. And also the topic about the aim of the conference is to provide platform to the research and practitioner from both academia as well as industry to meet and share. Cutting edge development. The first Tangerang International Conference has received more than 200 participants from 3 countries: India, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Each paper has been reviewed by the program committee, event held by online regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. The oral presentation and using video presentation on you platform, we apologize for the inconvenience. This event supported by several universities as co-hosts, including Universitas Indonesia Timur Makassar, Universitas Langlang Buana Bandung, Bakti Tunas Wisata Tasikmalaya, Akbar Harum Jakarta. This conference program consists of 6 keynote speakers. We would like to take scientific, commit, and review report, as well as the commit of the Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang and co-hosts who have participated in the success of this event, so that this event can be held as planned. We also convey to the head of Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang, whose had supported this event, but in terms of trainees and other sporting facilities. See you at the second Tangerang Internasional Conference 2021. Enjoy this conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bapak Sartono, for the welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my deep pleasure to introduce Chairman of Academic Senate of Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang, His Excellencies Profesor Dr. Insinyur H.M. Kusmawan, MSc, MBA, DBA, to deliver his opening speech. And afterward, we would like to request him to officially open the first Tangerang International Conference 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chairman of Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Maaf ya Pak.
Alhamdulillahilladzi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haq liyudhhirahu 'ala dini kullih wa kafa billahi syahida. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma His Excellency, the Chairman of Majelis Dikti PP Muhammadiyah, the honorable speakers, Mr. Muhammad Adam Jerusalem, MT, Profesor Dr. Sundaran Pandian, Profesor Dr. Ahmad Faisal, Profesor Madya Dr. Puspa Liza binti Ghazali, Professor Dr. Andi Mariam, and the last Professor Associate Professor Dr. Al-Bahra, Eskom, MCom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the seminar of Social Health and Education and Science, Engineering and Technology with the topic Building Education in the Era of COVID-19 by focusing in 6 multidiscipline. First of all, I'm grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, God the Almighty, for the implementation of the spiritual international seminar in Indonesia. Hopefully, this seminar will bring benefits to the audience and to everyone who attends the seminar virtually. We haven't had time to read the terms of reference about the contents of the paper sent by the speaker. But from the title to this seminar is clear evidence. This is the educational process during the pandemic or COVID-19 period. All of us who are present here together, we have dared to face the challenge of the new normal era, namely by holding a web seminar like this, or now what the short as webinar. In normal time, not necessary if we have an event like this, it could be in demand. However, in the new era, which is marked by virtual seminar activities, this is a real step, real new age with full of challenge. Today, 2 seminars will be held, namely the Social Health and Education and Science, Engineering and Technology seminar at the same time on 20th of September 2021. One of the characteristics of the 2 seminars is these 2 seminars are an answer to the development of current knowledge in various fields, namely social, health, and education, as well as in science, engineering, and technology. The 6 knowledge are held in the pandemic atmosphere. So everything was done virtually. However, this will reduce the quality of the seminar. It will not never. It was so-called international level. It will not reduce. The quality, inshallah, will be high. Alhamdulillah, thanks God, we have invited experts not only in Indonesia, but also experts from abroad. So there will be performance interaction between speakers who attend this seminar. When major problem is how can we all maintain, all care for the development of all knowledge we have to deal with this pandemic condition so that it can survive and continue to move forward. Then hopefully the future will be better than the past and the present time. We can simply explain as follows. For social science, we will examine how the social or political development of society, whether toward harm or benefit instead. If society is headed for harm, how can we will find out what causes it and how to deal with it with good solution. Then the health sector, how is current COVID-19 situation? Can we transformation the latest corona be overcome? If the solution are avoids and present, the spirit of how the process of avoiding and preventing can be carried out. Is it enough with the 3M only, 3M formula, like wear mask, keep distance, and reduce activity and so forth. In the field of education, how to educate the community to be able to withstand the situation more deeply so that they can overcome the negative impact of this pandemic, particularly for our children that will be our young generation in the future. Then develop the positive impact. May one will ask me what kind of positive impact I have. Yes, sure. Before pandemic, it is very difficult to stay together with my wife. But now in the pandemic, we always stay with my wife and my children, even my grandchildren. This is the positive of pandemic. Likewise, in our faith, in other field, namely science, engineering, and technology, in the same way, how can this field support other field to survive and continue to develop in this pandemic situation, which is not yet clear when it will be end. Congratulations on carrying out the seminar. Hopefully, we can hold it full of dynamics, full of positive interaction, and with mutual beneficial cooperation. Hopefully, our relationship will be closer in the future, and we can continue to organize events like this as well as possible and more high quality result. Congratulations and success to all of us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nih, tapi tadi kejadian mas banget semuanya.
Wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Kusmawan, for the insightful welcoming speech. And could you please to open this event officially?
Shall we together open this web seminar by reciting basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Thank you, Prof. Kusmawan. So now the first Tangerang International Conference 2021 has been officially opened. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue the ceremony with prayer. Kindly invited Emroni to lead our recitation.
Jadi tukang gula neng kono.
Emroni, excuse me. Okay, let's close this conference by saying Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the opening ceremony of the first Tangerang International Conference 2021. Now we continue to our main program. We come to the keynote speaker presentation. Before we start our main program, we would like to present to you a traditional dance from Tangerang. We can call it as an icon of Tangerang City. This dance was created to represent the various cultures and ethnic diversity in Tangerang. Please welcome Lenggang Cisadane Dance performed by Sendra Tasik students of Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasik Malaya. performance. I hope all of you enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in the first Tangerang International Conference 2021 by the topic Building Informatic-Based Education in the Era of the COVID-19 Pandemic. I hope all of you had a pleasant break. We're ready to start the keynote speaker's presentation session. Today, we'll have 6 great speakers, and each speaker will last 30 minutes. For free to interact with today's speakers, please type your question into Zoom Q&A box. Kindly state your name, your institution, and to whom the question is addressed. Then, I'll bring up your question after a speaker finished his or her presentation. So please don't miss this opportunity to have discussion with excellent speakers and friends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's great pleasure for me to introduce you to the first speaker, Muhammad Adam Jerusalem MT, PhD. Mr. Adam is a lecturer of Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta and Vice Secretary of the Council for Higher Education Research and Development of the Central Board of Muhammadiyah. He accomplished PhD in Industrial Management from National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. His research interests are about decision analysis, garment industry management, industrial engineering, and creative industry. His recent publications that are published in international journals Scopus Index is based on reliability analysis of a product probabilities model for a parallel system with dependent components. He has also released his books in 2011 and 2012 about occupational safety, health, and environment, designing boutique for business, and basic fashion skill. Okay, Mr. Adam has joined us online. Hello, Mr. Adam. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Miss
All right.
May.
All right, I see that you're ready for presentation. And now, please welcome Muhammad Adam Jerusalem, PhD, who will deliver his presentation. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. His Excellency Chairman Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang, Prof. Kusmawan, the Honorable Conference Chair, Pak Sartono, the Honorable Rector of COHOS, keynote speakers, participants, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to be here to share some information that I read before and share maybe the encouragement to especially for Muhammadiyah higher education institution. In this case, perhaps for Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu Muhammadiyah Tangerang. Please allow me to share the file. First of all, I'll share the file first, but first of all, I would say thank you very much for this opportunity. So we can see here, even though in the Zoom platform, because the pandemic situation still happen in this country. Okay, the committee of the Tangerang International Conference, the first conference of Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Mutu, invite me to talk about the education and the COVID-19 pandemic. So yeah, I try to make the presentation in two kind of categories because it is about the topic also talk about the informatic education based. So I think I also mentioned I much mention about the Industrial Revolution 4.0 and also the education in the pandemic era. So to categorize to agenda, to this agenda, I will share to you. As we know that in Industrial Revolution 4.0 have disrupted some jobs in all around the world, also in Indonesia. It makes some impact on existing job. Yeah, for example, in the agriculture, manufacturing, household work, mining, and the last jobs that gains in the trade, retail, and wholesale is around 12.8%. Yeah. The largest scale sector employment decline have become countered by growth of other sectors that have absorbed workers. These are of the sector that disrupted by Industrial Revolution 4.0. Based on the data US Bureau statistic, yeah, including in the education field that we concern to. Yeah. Now we usually use some platform, for example, today Zoom platform, Google Meet, maybe Webex and others to help the education program. Yeah. Okay, and this is still the impact on the existing job according to the country. For the modern country, progress country, they have the much or large impact because of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, while for the developed country like South Africa, Indonesia, or Philippines, still in the medium or lower than the modern country. This is about the probability robots and artificial intelligence will take your jobs in the next, maybe about 20 years later after now. Yeah. Telemarketer almost certain will replaced by robot and AI, artificial intelligence. Also accountant, auditor, retail salesperson. This is the prediction. Yeah, this is the prediction for the Business Insider, source the economists. Yeah. Because this kind of jobs can replace using by default technology like a robot and artificial intelligence. However, in the other hand, recreation therapists, dentists, athletic trainers that still need personal touch, still remain and still have small probability will replaced by robot and AI. Yeah. So it will be very helpful for us to for us, for example, for the institutional management, when we want to promote or propose a new study program, which study program that will be still have some prospective job in the next. Still about the AI effect, yeah. When will AI outperform human at the work? How many years until a machine can do our job better than us? Yeah. For example, this is food laundry. Maybe a robot can replace our job, uh, our job, and better than us, less than maybe 5 years later, 5 years from 2016. So yeah, it's about now. Truck driver, maybe about 10 or 12 years after 2016. And now I just watched maybe 2 days ago, there is some car that there is no driver there, just auto driver can park in the park lot without the driver. So yeah, the car already operated by automation, by artificial intelligence. So yeah, many jobs that will be replaced by AI technology. And about the automation of the labor, maybe about the 125 years. This is about the map of the future jobs. Yeah, now and 20 years later, what is the differences between now and 20 years or 50 years later? Yeah, in the health right now, by occurring COVID-19, telemedicine already raised in some occasion. Yeah, many doctor give the service by telemedicine and other sectors. And based on the World Economic Forum, the future of jobs, World Economic Forum released some type of job that on the rise and the decline sector in some years later. So the World Economic Forum is warning a loss more than 7 million jobs, 7 million jobs between now, now it refers to 2016 until 2020 in 15 major developed and emerging economies as a result of a fourth industrial revolution. The organization says developments in artificial intelligence, robotic, nanotechnology, 3D printing, genetic and biotechnology will cause job displacement across every industry and geographical region. So the type jobs that decline, for example, construction, art, design, entertainment, manufacturing, production, that replaced by robotics. And the type of job on the rise, for example, sales and related many business and financial operations. On the other hand, skill World Economic Forum also released some skills that disrupted by Industry 4.0. Yeah. For example, financial services will be disrupted by Industry 4.0 about 43%, and the least the skill in the media, entertainment, and information, about 27%. Yeah. So this is the picture or map of the job skill in the nowadays jobs, and maybe it still remain after in the next year. Okay. The second agenda is about the future education and have a impact by COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, in the future, education, higher education institution or companies accept diverse form of credential and certificate. Now, like a Google already accept the employee that have no degree, because they trust with the competency of the people who Google trust with the competency, even though he or she doesn't have a formal degree. So it is one thing that we are also need to pay attention, yeah, especially for us who work in the formal education. Yeah. The second one, work requirement will change so rapidly, and continuous career readiness become the norms. School will take many forms, sometimes self-organized. Learning will no longer be determined by time and space. Like today, we usually have a meeting by online. Usually, before the pandemic era, we only office hour from 8 to 7 p.m. 8 to 5, 8 p.m. to 5, 8 p.m. to 5 p.m. I mean, now because the pandemic and the online technology is disrupted as well. Learners will create individual learning playlist. Lesson for education from COVID-19, I take it from the OECD, yeah. OECD, a lesson for education from COVID-19, a policymakers handbook for more resilient system. Yeah. The COVID-19 pandemic has shaken long accepted belief about education, showing that learning can occur anywhere at any time, and education system are not too heavy to move. Lesson for education from COVID-19 or ECD 2020 surveyed in May 2020, only around 1/5 of OECD education system aim to reinstate the status quo. Policymakers must therefore maintain the momentum to collective emergency action to drive education into a new and better normal. Okay, a lesson for education from COVID-19. By September 2020, the majority of participating education system has returned primary and secondary education on the site delivery. So for the primary and secondary system, based on the survey already written to on-site delivery. Yeah, on-site delivery. It means delivery the material on-site in the class. How about in the post-secondary education system? It's include us in the higher education system, right? So while post-secondary education relied mainly on hybrid delivery model. So in the higher education system, based on the survey of OECD 2020, most of the nation implemented hybrid system, only online and also on-site. Yeah. So our hybridization during the pandemic will be remain after the pandemic era. Perhaps we will still have and more have online meeting through the Zoom, Google Meet, Webex, MS Team for delivering our material. Yeah. Perhaps for the conceptual or theoretical material. And of course, maybe the practical still need a hands-on in the laboratory or workshop. Yeah. But for the theoretical, some universities in some countries make it blended. Yeah. So not only in the class, but also through the online delivery. Here, some lesson for education from COVID-19. For example, I put it of 5 countries. For example, France. In October, France announced that all higher educations and upper secondary school must switch to full remote instruction, while the outbreak in the peak situation, with exception for essential practical training only, and then only the half the usual student capacity. Yeah, only half of the usual capacity. In the British Columbia, Canada, with the rising infection COVID-19 rates, by November, although British Columbia or Canada maintain on-site learning for all students, a new group system where a cluster of students and staff, about 20 until 30 students, will primarily interact with one another, was introduced for remainder of 2020. How about in the UK? Especially in Wales. In October, almost the same time with the France and other countries in Europe, Wales announced a 2-week, 5-week lockdown, in which following 1 week of school holidays, only learners in primary, and lower secondary education would return on-site learning with distant provision for older students. So it's happened in some countries where the outbreak in the peak season, they have a policy to lock down the school, and after that, yeah, remains to the on-site class, but very gradually. This and other experiences provide us with a valuable insight which to build back better. First, learning is relational social process. It means effective learning is more about relationship and mindsets than it is about physical space or instrument. Identifying how effective student learning process and interaction can take place in context of disruption, and nurturing them with right support is therefore the key priority for governments. Second, education system are not too heavy to move. Yeah, completing interest and substantial lag time between initial cost of educational reform and any benefits that may materialize can make education reform difficult. But COVID-19 transformed approach to learning something sometimes overnight, and the world learned that big change can happen quickly, even in education. Yeah. Suddenly, we remember maybe last year in March, we moved from the on-site class to online class by quickly move it. So education system are not too heavy to move. Third, deep global disruption emphasizes the need for greater resilience. The pandemic has brought resilience and preparedness to the forefront of the public consciousness. On-relation education system that plan for disruption and withstand at first even will fulfill the fundamental human right to education in any circumstances and foster the level human capital successful economies require. From the COVID-19, we also get the lesson, at least we have 3 lessons here based on the survey of OECD 2020. First, education actor like us, management, chair of the sekolah tinggi, rector, or others, should nurture resilience mindset that value people and processes over classroom and devices. The second, educators need new skills and new knowledge to capitalize on new education priorities and of the delivery. And the last one, addressing learning gaps now will minimize disruption in the student education journey. We can discuss this one by one. The first about the education actors should nurture resilience mindset that value people and processes over classroom and devices. As a period, widespread innovation and current moment offers an opportunity to build greater flexibility and resilience into fundamental organizing principle education. How can government capitalize on this opportunity, harnessing new ways of organizing teaching and learning to make education more responsive to the needs of our students and its all context. In 2020, there have been some promising policy effort that put greater emphasis on people and processes. Example, 8 countries, for example, in Japan, through the Human Resources Bank for supporting school and children. In the Germany, at school level, Germany has recommended the state authorities conduct a screening and evaluation of existing software and digital learning materials according to uniform and research-based criteria. So in terms of the informatics era, this is a very significant role for the informatics study program. Austria developed a range of training courses to prepare teachers for the introduction of uniform one-stop digital platform for all students from September. So these are the policy in the spread of countries to handle the COVID-19 in education sector. Korea introduced an initiative learning system in vocational education to allow students to organize their own academic timetable, helping them to complete courses in the short time frame from theoretical element online and practical element in a person. Why? Maybe because Korea think vocational education have different curriculum with others education. Vocational education have much of the practical element in their curriculum. So Korea give more pay attention for learning system in the vocational education. So the first lesson is about nurturing resilient mindset that value people and processes. Yeah, this consists of commit to embracing the relational nature of learning now and in the future. Government and policymakers in the higher education should build capacity across the system to thrive in the context of the disruption and change, create opportunity for learners to shape their own educational journey to share a vision. Yeah. This is tips or lessons for policymakers in the first lesson. The second lesson from COVID-19, educators need new skills and new knowledge to capitalize on new education priorities and means of delivery. Throughout COVID-19, education system have relied on educators to be guarantors of student education, yet pre-crisis demands on the professions also endure. So the question is, how can government support educators to develop an even broader and more complex set of skills in students while continuously updating their own competencies? Here's some lesson from 5 countries, yeah, that impactful policies from the pre-crisis period can inform a new effort to support educators. For example, in Denmark, a nation corps of learning consultants has been key in the Danish approach to school improvement. So they work with school and municipalities on a host of them depending on the school years through webinar or other event, yeah, through intensive counseling and development targeted at school specific circumstances. In 2016, the scheme was expanded to support early childhood. In the Sweden has introduced collaborative research based on professional learning programs in 2012. In math, for example, materials are produced in a collaboration with over 20 post-secondary institutions published online according to year groups on and school type. However, in the other hand, New Zealand, for example, New Zealand's communities of learning aim to strengthen school quality through bringing setting at the different level of the system together to establish clearer learning pathway. Yeah, here is some example from other country that we can learn. Rather than trying to cover teacher at all level, it may be more impactful to design tailored professional learning programs with staff from a specific education level in mind. Scaling up delivery has also been challenging, with many systems questioning the long-term sustainability and durability of these programs. COVID-19 policies analyzed, very few of the policies implemented during the crisis is currently planned for sustain during after pandemic. This is a summary of the policy maker that can follow 3 policy pointers for the future. The first, policy educator to become the driver of their own learning. Second, provide educators with tools that are responsive to their specific needs and contexts. Third, foster collaborative relationship among educators for triple impact. The last lesson from COVID-19 is about addressing learning gap. Now will minimize disruption in the student education journey. So the COVID-19 crisis has disproportionately affected the most vulnerable learners. The question later, how can governments best tackle the dual tasks of recovering learning loss and inequalities with driving education into a better normal where all students are able to thrive irrespective of their circumstances. Learning losses is the main issue right now because the pandemic era, especially for the vocational education that have many practical curriculum there. So if the pandemic still happen in next year, still happen for 1 or 2 years, we cannot imagine how our generation can gain the competency well. This is 5 countries that we can learn from them about impactful policies from the pre-crisis period can inform new effort to address a learning gap. For example, Germany Education Alliance have supported out-of-school programs in Germany for educationally disadvantaged children and teenagers. Norway give the certificate of the practical schemes in alternative vocational education training pathway aims to those struggling in mainstream vocational education training. Australia, the higher education participation and partnership program provide funding to assist universities to undertake activities and implement strategies that improve access to undergraduate course for students from low socio-economic background and improve their retention and completion rates. So maybe from Australia, we can also learn from Australia and implement in Indonesia because some specific cases is quite the same with Indonesia. Yeah. In context of COVID-19 pandemic, yeah, there also have been some promising policies, effort to address learning gaps, learning losses. For example, in the United Kingdom, yeah, United Kingdom governments have committed 1 billion Great Britain pounds to fund education catch-up initiative. So this include a one-off universal catch-up premium for 2020 to 2021, providing school with an extra GDP for extra 80 pounds per student to ensure they have the sufficient resource to support learning recovery. In Indonesia, yeah, also our government provides some money to this sector, for example, to provide some internet data to in order to support our students when they join the online course. In Portugal, all schools in Portugal must develop an action plan for the recovery and consolidation of learning to guide teaching and learning in 2020 to 2024. So these are an example from others country that we can learn from the COVID-19. Each country have a different policies, but the aim is the same, to maintain the generation still have the good competencies. So there is a need for coherent complementary action as well sustained effort over a longer period. A related challenge found in several policies is the need to estimate more carefully the need or demand and consequently better assign necessary resources, especially in the term of time. COVID-19 policies analysis intention to engage parents in initiative to address learning gaps were less clearly set out. Okay, here's the lesson from the third lesson. Yeah, the detail of the lesson from the third lesson. Act now to reduce learning gap and commit for the long term. embrace holistic, flexible intervention that enhance the multiple words of the learner, rethinking and embed evaluation and assessment component to maximize impact. These three details strategy in order to addressing learning gaps now will minimize the disruption by COVID-19. Last but not least, especially for PTM, Perguruan Tinggi Muhammadiyah, Muhammadiyah Higher Institution, must be innovative in the various fields in education, teaching, research, community service, especially in the field of ICT. Mastery and implement key technology of Industrial Revolution 4.0 to manage PTM, Muhammadiyah Higher Education Institution, more modern, and also developing innovative education ecosystem to handle an impact of Industry 4.0 and COVID-19 pandemic. This is our expectation to our university. Thank you very much. This is all for our my presentation. Thank you very much. I give back to the moderator.
All right, thank you very much for insightful presentation, Mas Adam, that gave us insightful lesson for education from COVID-19. Now we come to the discussion session, and I already have had a question for Mr. Adam. It's from Dr. Mujiarto from Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasikmalaya. And the question is, what are the predictions for job opportunities in the field of technology, especially manufacturing post-COVID-19 pandemic, and how are the job opportunities in the field of education? That's the question for you.
Okay, one by one. Okay, thank you, Dr. Mujiato from UNTAS. Hopefully you are always well conditioned. Thank you very much for the questions. Yeah, as my presentation before, that jobs based the informatics and informatics era and informatics area or in informatics fields will be raised in the opportunity, because nowadays we need more activities based on the artificial intelligence, and then the robotic and others. So job opportunities in the field technology, especially in the manufacturing post COVID-19 pandemic, still that related with the information technology, computer-based technology, and electronic, also electrical engineering will be raised. For example, in the many applications that we have nowadays in the Indonesia, like the Gojek and others, that based on the big data, artificial intelligence. So it also will happen in the manufacturing field. Robotic and artificial intelligence base will be dominate later in the manufacturing, even the especially in the post of COVID-19. How are the job opportunities in the field of education? In the field of education, I think, yeah, the main job in the education, yeah, lecture and yeah, lecture. I think on the lecture. So I think the skill of the lecture should be improved after COVID-19, especially the skill and competencies regarding to the uh, yeah, information technology or ICT. Some senior lecturer may, for example, cannot easily to use online platform like a Zoom, like another platform, a learning management system. So they must learn, and we have to improve them uh, by some courses and training to improve their skill in order to use some online platform or handle the learning management system. So I think that's my answer, Miss May. Move
Yes.
to another question, or
You have another question. It's from Mr. Rahman. Let me read the question. In the future, digital or online education will be priority method. How to educate students regarding social interaction or social culture? Online learning, social interaction between us is minimum. That's the question.
yeah, okay, this is the main issues in the online or digital education. Yeah, uh, sure, the social interaction will be decreased much, and it will impact to our students. Maybe they will know, they will uh, not knowing each other, and more worse condition, they will have no empathy it's among them. Yeah, so it's a big issue for us to handle it. For example, maybe, yeah, we can make some program that not formal activities, just informal activities, just like quote in quote ngopi bareng, but in the online platform. So by using online platform, a digital platform to delivery valuable value, yeah, uh, out of out of the course. I mean, we can set a program, just informal program, informal program to make them know each other deeply. If in the formal course, for example, in the mathematics course, in the physical course, and others course, I think they have no time to know each other, know another character of their friend. So social interaction, of course, uh, will very less. Yeah. So we can provide another activities of informal activities like outbound, but by online if the uh, condition very worse in the pandemic. But right now, the condition of the pandemic uh, getting better and better. So maybe we can make the informal program like I said, yeah, in face-to-face or physical activities. I think that's all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radam. It's very interesting topic. So I have one more question for you. This is from Cecep Hadian from STM Muhammadiyah Tangerang. The question is, what are the tips for developing competence through research during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay, Pak Cecep, it's a great question. It's interesting question. What are the tips for developing competencies through research during COVID-19 pandemic? So is it a competence related to the research? Competence, what kind of competence? Okay, maybe as a lecture, our main competence is the lecturing. So maybe we can improve our competence related to the online or digital course, yeah. Because if the pandemic still happen in some time next, so this is the main competence of us in delivering our material. So the tips, yeah. Now we have many content in the YouTubes, yeah, and also many research article in the online journal that we can learn from them to improve our competence, especially in our teaching competence through the digital learning platform. So I think like that, the answer, my answer, maybe if not quite make you satisfied, Pak Cecep, give me much apologize. Thank you, Miss May.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adam, who explained us about some changes and opportunity in the future learned from COVID-19 pandemic. I'm agree that educators need new skills and new knowledge to capitalize on new education priorities and means of delivery. And this should be followed by policy makers who follow three policy pointers for future-related action. They are position educators to become the drivers of their own learning, provide educators with tools that are responsive to their specific needs and context, and foster collaborative relationship among educators for triple impact. So thank you, Mr. Adam, for clear explanation and your precious time in this conference. Thank you for audiences for active participation.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, moving right along, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Professor Dr. Sundara Pandian Vidyanathan. And he's online with us. Hello, Professor Sundara Pandian. Good morning. Hello, Prof. Sundar. I believe he's online with us. So let me introduce Prof. Sundara Pandian in advance. Professor Sundara Pandian is a professor and dean R&D Center, Valtech University, India. He is Doctor of Science in Electrical and System from 1996. He is actively doing research in control theory, chaos theory, and dynamical system. He published over 550 papers in Scopus indexed research journals. And for the achievement in October 2020, he was rated world rank 10 in top 2% scientists by PLOE's biology journal in the area, artificial intelligence and image processing. All right, without further ado, um, I'm honored to invite Professor Dr. Sundarapandian Vidyanathan to deliver his presentation entitled Application of Chaos Theory and Science and Engineering. You have 20 minutes, sir. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Very good morning to all the conference participants and special speakers for the TIC 2021 conference at Indonesia. I like to share screen and present my talk. Okay, I hope I can do it. I will share the entire screen. It will be easy. Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Can see.
A very good morning to all. The keynote talk is titled as Applications of Chaos Theory in Science and Engineering. As the time given for me is 20 minutes, I will highlight the important points in my talk and keep it very informative for all the participants. It will be applications oriented. What is chaos theory? How is it useful? That will be the focus on my talk. And I will also present a recent paper I published in IEEE journal. This is a recent award I got in India in the year 2018. In computer science, I got the award for best faculty in computer science from our education minister. And dear friends, this is the only slide I wish to put highlighting my research. This was mentioned in the introduction about me. In a recent research study by Stanford professors in USA, they listed top 2% scientists in 20 areas. In the area artificial intelligence and the image processing, you can see the bottom of the screen. I got the world rank 10. And this is a honor for me, and I am very proud of sharing this with you based on my research experience over the years, which helped me to achieve this world rank. I will share some important details and applications of one particular research area, namely the chaos theory. Dear friends, this is the contents of my talk today. I will start with a very brief introduction, which will be comprehensive for all the audience. Then I will start with the history of chaotic systems, and I will mention the Lorentz system in 1963. Lorentz is the father of chaotic systems. He pioneered, he started this research area, so we have to thank him first, an American scientist. Followed by the research paper I wrote with my good friend in Indonesia, Achang Sambas. He is my top research collaborator. He and I have very good friendship, and Indonesia is a very friendly country for me. I have great respect for you. I have visited 3 or 4 times. In this corona pandemic days, I am giving the online talk for you, Indonesian friends. Finally, some applications to conclude this talk. Introduction. What is chaos theory? We all understand in life chaos. Especially, for me, once I reach home from office to home, I get chaos with my wife. So we have some kind of problems, complications, complexity in our daily life. Such a thing is chaos, as our family life teaches us. Even though chaos has complexity, we can use that as an asset. It is not a negative thing. This is what my talk shows. This complexity is what makes chaos a very attractive research field to work on, more than fuzzy theory, more than neural networks, more than other fields. Of course, every area is important. Please don't get me wrong. Fuzzy theory, neural networks, they are all very important. I use them. But in terms of what is most important, what is most applicable, in that way, I feel that chaos theory is a very attractive and highly useful theory. When I conclude this talk, you will understand why I hype it so much. Dear friends, basically chaotic systems are non-linear dynamical systems. You know, ordinary differential equations and also partial differential equations, systems that evolve with time. Some of these systems are highly sensitive to initial conditions. We call them as butterfly effect. I wish I could show you some diagram here, but you see, let us take two initial states lying very close to each other. Call them like x and y. X and y lying very close to each other. From x you plot a trajectory, from y you plot a trajectory. Even though x and y are very close, the resulting trajectories, if they are very different, totally different behavior, such a thing is called highly sensitive. Even a small difference can make a big difference. Even a small difference in the initial state can make a big difference. Such a thing is called highly sensitive, and they are called chaotic systems. When the energy remains constant, we call them like a conservative chaotic system. When the energy is decaying with time, when the energy comes to zero, ultimately, they are called dissipative systems. Most of the mechanical systems are dissipative systems, but systems can be also conservative. They are very special systems. We call them like Hamiltonian systems. Research wise, conservative systems are difficult to find, whereas dissipative systems are easy to find. Most of my research papers are in dissipative systems only, but Achang and I have published also papers in conservative systems. This talk deals with an IEEE paper that we published on a dissipative system where the energy decays to zero. There are some mathematical things like we calculate Lyapunov exponents. If a system has one positive Lyapunov exponent, it is said to be chaotic. When we calculate the sum, if the sum is equal to zero, it is conservative. If the sum is a negative number, it is a dissipative system. This is a mathematical calculation. Finally, chaotic systems have lot of important applications for those without a science or engineering background. This is very easy. We all do internet banking, right? We all do mobile banking. What if some Chinese guy or some smart guy from Taiwan hacks your mobile? There is even some talk about the Pegasus software. I hope you following the news, where your mobiles can be hacked by security agency. They can store all kinds of things. So we need to have a good complexity, protection from hacking, protection from somebody, you know, uh, entering our system, entering our mobile. So you want our mobile banking to be safe. We want our internet banking to be safe. How to ensure this? For this, we need to encode everything with a chaotic system or something called hyperchaotic system. So in terms of security in our day-to-day life applications, of course, army, military applications, you can imagine, you need a very, very high level of security. For this, chaotic systems play a very, very important role. This is why I say that fuzzy, neural, all are important. In our washing machine, we need a fuzzy logic. In our refrigerator, we need fuzzy logic. Certainly, they are important in our day-to-day life. But in terms of banking, mobile banking, where you need a very, very high level of security, nobody breaking into your system, for that we need chaotic systems. Dear friends, this table gives you a capsule summary. I don't have time to explain each and every topic in it. If time permits, I will give a detailed workshop, a faculty development program in some university in Indonesia if you invite me. So the topics like engineering, computers, robotics, communications, all the things I said, internet banking, mobile banking, they come under this. Information security. Not only that, also in medicine, biology, and all, we like to avoid chaos. If somebody gets chaos in heart rhythm, he passes away. He comes in obituary column. Therefore, here chaos is something which is avoided. We like to avoid chaotic behavior. So how to do that? Some studies have been done. Also in cancer, what could lead to chaos, how to avoid it, and all. Of course, stock marketing, economic forecasting, financial analysis, we have chaos. To be very frank, with my good friend Achang Sambas, we have published 3 or 4 papers on finance chaotic systems. In this talk, I will not be talking about it. Later on, in some other conference, I will detail our talk on a hyper chaotic finance system. Very, very interesting, but I have to postpone it for some other occasion. I have already briefed you about what is a chaotic systems. It is a non-linear dynamical systems which is highly sensitive to initial conditions. You can also see that from the phase portraits. In terms of mathematics, we calculate the Lyapunov exponents. It should have at least one positive Lyapunov exponent. It can take even 0.005, still it is chaotic. All right. This is, dear friends, Lorentz model. He is an American physicist. Physics is his area. Actually, I can tell you the story how he discovered chaos, but I don't have time. So he was relaxing at home. He was plotting the trajectories. He took some initial state, plotted a trajectory. He rounded off the calculations. He plotted another trajectory. This round off simplification took him to totally different trajectory. Then he understood that a small change, a small round of calculation can lead to big change in the solution. So that is what we call it now as a chaotic system. This is a three-dimensional system, a weather prediction model, atmospheric convection model. X, Y, and Z, they have some physical meaning. The constants you see on the screen, sigma, rho, and beta, they are also physical constants. I don't have the time to explain this model. My interest is to show my work. This is a well-studied model, 1963. I will just show the phase portraits. The phase portraits are called a butterfly attractor. It's also called a two-scroll attractor. So this is a three-dimensional phase portrait of the Lorentz chaotic system starting from the initial state 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. You take that and plot the trajectories for 200 time seconds, 200 seconds. That gave rise to this three-dimensional two-scroll plot. It's also called a butterfly attractor, butterfly wings attractor. Many names for that. This behaves like a butterfly. Dear friends, this is a XY signal plot of the same Lorentz chaotic system. For 200 seconds, I plotted this. You can see from this phase portrait starting from 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. A very complex behavior. Very complex. You can also see a YZ projection, YZ projection. This is enough about the history for the chaotic systems. Now I go to IEEE paper. I think I have limited time, so I will complete my talk very shortly. This is a paper I wrote with my very good friend Achang Sambas in 2020, IEEE Access Journal. I have sent the PowerPoint of my talk to Achang Sambas. You can read all the details from my PowerPoint presentation in August 2020 we published. Dear friends, this is the dynamics of our three-dimensional chaotic systems. This has two parameters A and B, and we showed that for the values A is 12 and B is 2, this has chaotic behavior. The rest points or the equilibrium points lie on a closed curve given on the screen, x squared plus y squared minus mod x minus 1 is equal to 0. This has some symmetric properties, as you can obviously see, symmetric about the x-axis, symmetric about the y-axis. It lies on the xy plane. It has the shape of a peanut. So we named this equilibrium curve as a peanut-shaped equilibrium curve. This is symmetric about the x-axis. This is symmetric about the y-axis. We all love peanuts. Most of us love peanuts. This equilibrium curve is a closed curve. We named it a peanut-shaped equilibrium curve. These are the phase portraits, an XY signal plot of our system, YZ signal plot of our system, and XZ signal plot of our system. You can see that the system is a highly complex behavior. with a good Chinese friend, Professor He helped us. So we showed that for different values of the parameters, we took A is equal to 12, B is equal to 2, we get the first plot on the screen. By changing different values, taking B is equal to 1 or A is equal to 20, B is equal to 0.2, we get 4 different plots. So this again shows that for different parameters, the system has a totally different behavior. This is something called multi-stability. Here what we do is we keep the parameters as the same, vary the initial conditions, dear friends. There we keep the same initial conditions, vary the parameters, we have this plot. For different parameters, we have different plots. Here what we do is we keep the same parameters. A is equal to 12, B is equal to 2. We vary the initial states, we have a totally different phase portraits. This also shows the complexity of the three-dimensional chaotic system that we had. Professor He helped us with these calculations. Circuit design was done by our good friend Achang Sambos from Umtas, Indonesia, University Tasikmalaya. So he did a great work and built a circuit design in multi-sim software. So we use Kirchhoff's current laws, we transform the system, then we designed the circuit in multi-sim. Whatever plots we got in MATLAB, these are the MATLAB plots. Achang got a very similar close plots in the. This is the circuit Achang devised in multi-sim version 3.0. For this circuit, we got the corresponding plots. You can see that the XZ plot we got in multi-sim is very similar to our plot in MATLAB. The YZ plot in the multi-sim is similar to the MATLAB plot that we got, and XZ plot is similar to the MATLAB plot. So we have done a circuit design. Why do we do the circuit design? Because for all the real life practical applications, we can use the circuit and build a microprocessor, or for the hardware we can build a real circuit, and that can be used for robotics, microprocessors, and lots of engineering applications. We have also done a field program game array FPGA design for our circuit. We did simulations only for this paper because of the COVID pandemic days. The lab was closed in Mexico. Because the lab was closed, we could not do the actual FPGA design for it. So we did simulations using the software. So these are the time series plot. This is the X signal plot, time plot for the signal X, time plot for the signal Y, and time plot for the signal Z. We built a FPGA circuit and verified with simulations. Finally, with this I conclude. There are many engineering applications I already mentioned. The encryption is useful for the internet banking, mobile banking applications. We need to do, the pseudo random number generators for enhancing security. In cryptography and all, we need pseudo random number generators. We can use chaos. Steganography, where you put a stamp, watermark. For this also you can use chaos and ensure steganography. We published a paper in on Springer Journal, European Journal of Physics. Secure communication, FPGA, something I did not mention, memristive circuits, memory starts. For that also we can use chaos and hyper chaos. If you want to read these applications in details, you can read my Springer book that I published in the year 2017. This is a very popular book, dear friends, Advances and Applications in Chaotic Systems. And a very recent book, this book I published in this year only, 2021. Time goes very fast. Around January or February of this year, I published this book, Backstepping Control of Nonlinear Dynamical Systems. So what you see on the screen is the plot of a chaotic system. This book was edited by me and a good friend from Saudi Arabia, Professor Ahmad Tahar Azar. I concluded my talk in 20 minutes time as you requested, so that I can take your questions.
Azimi.
Okay, I'm back to the screen. I will be glad to answer your questions.
All right, thank you, Prof. Sundar, for a clear explanation. If you have any question, please audience, please type your question into the chat box. Or you may ask question directly to Prof. Sundar Pandian. Okay, audience, hello. I think it's interesting topics about application of chaos theory.
Okay.
So please, if you have any question or you want to share something, so please share. You may share it directly with Prof. Sundar.
I see some comment.
Okay. Yeah, I found it.
Please read. Oh yes, I read the question. The question asked me, chaos behavior is widely applied in various disciplines. We are interested in the field of astronomy. Is there a chaotic phenomenon in the movement of planets or stars? I want to congratulate you. I want to thank you. This is a very brilliant question. I have presented this in many conferences. This is a great question. I want to tell you, the chaos theory started from astronomy only. A famous scientist called Poincaré, Henry Poincaré. I will type his name so I don't know. I will type it so that you can read his name. Henry Poincaré, a French mathematician, studied three-body problem. Can you understand? Three-body problem. He was studying the movement of three planets. What are the three planets? Sun, the Earth, and the Moon. This is astronomy. Will you agree? So he was studying the interaction between the three planets. He got partial differential equations. He approximated the partial differential equations by differential equations, and he observed chaos. So there is chaos in three-body problem. I actually wanted to write a paper in this area. I found some interesting thing. I wanted to do research with a Russian scientist as a PhD problem for a student. He did not take it. Therefore, I want to do it. I'm very glad because I was looking for a next paper. Thank you for a great problem. That's a great problem. I want to thank you. I hope my answer is satisfactory. You can do it. The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Professor, for your insightful presentation about the application of chaos theory in science and engineering. Thank you very much, Prof. It's nice to see you in this great event. I hope you always stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next session, we have Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Faisal Muhammad Ayub from University Malaysia, Terengganu. Okay. I'm sorry. I need to apologize because Professor Dr. Ahmad Faisal has something to do, so he cannot attend this event. So I will move to the next speaker. We have Professor Madia Dr. Puspaliza Binti Ghazali from University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia. Okay. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Puspa. Hello, Prof. Puspa. Okay, let me introduce her in advance. Professor Liza accomplished his PhD in mathematics science in University of Malaysia, Terengganu. So her area of expertise is financial mathematics. She had been awarded 6 grants as leader from 2015 until 2022. She also got many achievements. One of her achievements is e-diet product, had awarded platinum in competition innovation. She has published 67 articles, Scopus indexed. Overall, she has published 90 articles per index articles and 20 articles non-indexed. So now please welcome Professor Madya Dr. Puspa Liza Binti Ghazali to deliver her presentation entitled The Analysis on Impact of Investors' Knowledge, Profit and Benefit Towards the Investor's Acceptance on New Mathematical Formulation of Islamic Unit Trust Model in Field Study. Prof. Liza, time is yours. You have 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, can you share the video? Okay, the slide. Thank you very much for sharing. And thank you to the MC for very good conference for today. As you know, my title of the presentation is Analysis of Investor Knowledge, Profit and Benefit toward the investor on new mathematical formation of Islamic Unit Trust Model. This is a study. So this study I have been made about last year. So I want to take the respondent whether they like the mathematical model of formation or whether they like it. And I get this kind of analysis. From here we go section from my presentation. I have introductions, review, methodology, and conclusion. So for the introduction. In introduction, we have Islamic Unit Trust need to follow process. First, Sharia training. Second is purification process. Sharia training is either Sharia or non-compliant. Is managed by Sharia of the Security Commission. Okay, from the application process is down zakat and that got two methods in. First by management of the company. Second by investor themselves. They still face challenge actually for the practice of the profit distribution. Some company may neglect to deduct the zakat from the profit. Public company, but while certain of the product, Islamic or non-Islamic, have the same mathematical calculation, mathematic formulation. Sometimes they be doubt about this kind of method because they need mathematic formulation for non-Islamic is different with the conventional mathematic. Because mathematics of Islamic, they must have based on the concept of Islamic base. Okay, that is for my introductions. It goes to another slide, please. Now we goes for the teacher review. So why some people like to do invest or find another thing to get more money? Because based the theory of Keynesian theory of demand of money 1936, they got three motivation for them to do that. First, transaction demand, because transaction demand they want to pay for something, they have to pay by using the money, whether by use transaction online or although it's not online, by cash. But at least they must have a sum of money to do that. Second, precaution demand. Precaution demand, they want to use the money in emergency case. Also, they need more money. Third is speculative demand. Because of uncertainty of further interest rate, so they got speculative demand. Actually, in Malaysia, right now in COVID-19, last time chicken for 1 kilo is just only 6 ringgit to 7 ringgit. Now in the COVID, this got a speculative demand. The chicken for 1 kilo is 9 ringgit to 10 ringgit. Is quite expensive because got a speculative demand up there. Okay. Next. Okay, continue with the literature. We have two of upon this researcher had already done about the mathematical model. One is Azhar, ETAL 2017 had done for this about the takaful in for the mobile, for the car takaful. Sorry. So they made a new model by a new mathematical model, and they are making the questionnaire and distribute this, all the questionnaire mostly in all in Terengganu 8 district of Terengganu. So from that they got the data whether they like this new model or not by using SAM, structured equation model. And from that they found the respondent agree this takaful for car is a good thing because it's protection driver and also passenger with affordable price. Ghazali ETLI 2018 made research about the home financing. They call it Barakah home financing. And they found this thing is a good thing. They do the same thing for like Azhar. They spread this thing all over Malaysia. They found it. People agree this formula and they like one day they can implement this formula all over Malaysia in home financing. In home financing coverage with the takaful operator. With takaful, home financing coverage with takaful. They hope they can implement in Malaysia one day. Okay, next. So this is two example the study had been done in using by new formulations. So that's why I create another new formulation in the unit trust study. Okay, next. Okay, I had done last year about new Islamic unit trust formulations. I had explained very detailed about this not in Tangerang, in it's online in Tasik Malaya about this kind of formula. And then we have the formula of Islamic unit trust that I propose is like this. DI equal PH minus PL. P is principal, the highest principal minus the lower principal in that year. So time RI is a dividend for that monthly, time TI dividend for yearly plus PH plus PL. That is got the average of the principal divided by 2 times for the yearly interest for the yearly I not minus PH plus PL over 2 times for the zakat. RZ is interest for the zakat. So this is the new formulation in Islamic new model that I propose. So this article had been done and about this formulation and is got a Scopper and ISI journal last 2 years. Not last year journal. Okay, next. So we got, as we know, PH is principal current year, PF lowest one, PH is the highest. I told you already, RI is monthly, I know is the dividend for current year, TI is how much they will take from January until November in current year. That means first in January you got T1 is 1/12 because the first month. So we calculate 1 plus 2 2 is on January, plus 3 on March until November. November is 11. So we got together is 66 over 12. That is for dividend of the years until November. So next means I just refresh back this formula. Okay, so we go to the method how I do it my survey in this method, because my study more to the science and science social, the formulation in science stream, but I used to spread the formula and also questionnaire to all over people who has used this kind of unit trust, whether they like it or not. It's like a science social. So first is research design. I use a quantitative method. Data collection method, I use a questionnaire, is a primary data. Use a scholar record, 10 scholar record, and the data has been spread 8 district in Terengganu. So unit of analysis is unit holder of any unit trust in Malaysia who own at least one unit of unit trust fund, whether the unit trust or government unit trust, whether of private sector unit trust. So we include them in this research. Sampling method is random sampling. So the sample size is about 200 respondents are chosen in this research. And after that, we got data and we process it by using SPSS 25 and structure equation model AMOS for data analysis. Okay, next. Okay, so I will tell you about the instrument. So the instrument got 4 sections. First section is demographic. Information or respondent consist of gender, marital status, race, level of education, income per month, and place investment. Section 2 to 4, we emphasize on the construction of the model and comprise investment knowledge, investor knowledge, investor profit, and benefit of Islamic unit trust toward investor acceptance of new model of unit trust. So in the instrument have the 10 scale Likert scale, and all this questionnaire have adapted and modified from field study from Bakar, Amin, Aziz, and also Chun. So we can construct this questionnaire and distribute to all the unit trust holder. Next. Okay, in this study, we got 3 hypotheses. Hypothesis 1, because we do have to do the hypothesis testing, so we need to have the hypothesis in this study. Hypothesis 1, investor knowledge has a significant correlations on investor acceptance on new mathematic formation of Islamic unit trust. So the second one, investor profit, also has the significant correlation on investor acceptance on new mathematic formation of unit trust. Hypothesis 3, investor benefit, has a significant correlation in investor acceptance of new mathematic formulation. So over here, we want to testing 3 things: investor knowledge, investor profit, investor benefit, according to new formulation, whether they accept it or not. Next. Okay, this is the result from the survey. We have the measurement model, 2-step approach of modeling and analyzing the structure model. In structure model, we need to think to make the model fit. First, we have to know the CFA. Second, after the CFA got the very fit data, a good model, so we can use the net analysis by using SAM, that means structure equation model. And then we can get the fit model for our research. Okay, next. Okay, this is a CFA. So we put all the data and we run the program, and then we got the data like this. We Western knowledge, we assume as K1 until K7. That is a questionnaire. Investor profit, P1 until P10. That is investor profit. And investor acceptance, we got A1 to AX. That and investor benefit, we got B1 until B10. This is all we run, and we can see the factor loading of the after we run the program. We need to eliminate to get rid the factor loading if they be lower than 0.6. So we cannot eliminate lump sum. We have to eliminate one by one of the factor loading, because we want to get the right thing to do the analysis, to do the analysis. Okay, next. Again, we can see the factor loadings. K5, K6, we eliminate it because it's less than 0.6. And then P1 also eliminate it. Also A1 to A8, we don't eliminate it because it's accepted, it's more than 0.6. B1 to B10, we eliminate B6 because it's less than 0.6. Okay, there is a factor routine that we have eliminated. Okay, next. Okay, all the items have meet the suggested value. This is the suggested value have been list in item and also the factor loadings. Right now we do the diagram, and now we do accumulate into table. This is the table of factor loading and also items. Next. From that things we can see absolute fixed RMC 0.08. That means require reach the level. They reach the level for fixed, and also CFI, TLI, IFI. That means it's more greater than 0.8. So this is reach the level required for reach level, and also child over DF is 2.47 also required. So for CFA is already fixed. Next. And then we have to go to the AVE and also composite reliability. We found the factor loading has the minima 0.6. So we got the more higher than 0.6. So EVE we got more than 0.5. Also we got all the higher 0.5 to make it the fit model. Next. So the discriminants validity index summary for all construct. So we found the knowledge 0.733, for profit 0.856, benefit 0.791, and also acceptance 0.782. So from here we found the value all in its row and column, so that the discriminant validity for construct are reached, because when we can see the bow of the construct is higher from the below. So this means they are valid. We got the validity for the construct. It can conclude that discriminant validity for all construct is attained and suggested for the next analysis. If we got like this, we can go to the next analysis. If not, we cannot go for the next analysis because the model is not fit. So next. So now the frame converted into structure model in Amos graphic. So this Amos graphic, we take only the validity and have the reliability of the construct only. That's why we eliminate K5, K6, P1, and also B6. We eliminate it because that's not fake. And then we have this thing, and we run for the structure equation model for the second time. Next. So we have the data, we run the data like this. We got knowledge, profit, benefit, and investor acceptance. So this investor acceptance. So this is a regression path. So we want to find regression path coefficient among construct. So among construct of the model. So next. And we found the regressions for R square, investor acceptance is 0.68. That means the acceptance, this model is about 68%. Is maybe people don't know about this kind of model. 68% is mean quite strong, medium strong correlation of it variance according to the acceptance of the respondent in this research. Next. So the unstandardized regression path coefficient among construct, there is a standardized. So this one unstandardized, got a few unstandardized in this regression. So we need to run one more because like we know K5 and K6 we eliminate, P1 we eliminate, and B6 also we eliminate. So we need to find the fit index for the next regressions. And then from the non-regression path coefficient, because we run already, so we standardize for the construct. This construct for beta value, we got 0.23, profit we got 0.13, and benefit we got 0.52, according to the investor acceptance. Next. This is regression. And we get the equation from the regression according to this model. Investor acceptance is equal to 0.23 knowledge plus 0.13 profit plus 0.52 benefit. So it is understandable that all construct in this study has significant contribution toward its respective endogenous construct. From the estimated value, investor benefit, we got beta 0.522, has the highest positive contribution toward investor acceptance compare investor knowledge and also investor profit. So benefit give more contribution for this equation in regression, that people like more this model because there are many benefits. Maybe they understand the benefit of this model. Maybe they don't understand the profit. Profit is more the according to the model. They understand mathematical model. Maybe a few people understand mathematical model. Knowledge, these people not much knowledge in unit trust. So that's why the benefit got higher, because they look at the benefit, they will get it. That's why they agree for that. That's why we got the highest of the beta value. Okay, next. Okay, regression weight and it is significant. So according to investor acceptance knowledge, we got the p-value 0.00. That is a significant. That means it's a p-value less than 0.05. So we got significant. And also the investor profit, we got less 0.05, we got significant. Investor acceptance for benefit, we got less than 0.05. The end is significant. So that means all three independent construct in this study provide significant effect on dependent variable. So independent affect the dependent variable for in the study according to regression weight and its significant. Next. Okay, from here, we want to test our hypothesis. Hypothesis 1, we found that investor knowledge has significant effect on investor acceptance. P-value also 0.0, less than 0.05, so it's supported. Hypothesis 2, investor profit has significant effect on investor acceptance, is less than 0.05, also supported. And hypothesis 3, investor benefit has a significant effect on investor acceptance. It is that means p-value is less than 0.05 and also supported. We found all the hypotheses testing has been supported in the study. Okay, next. Okay, we got the conclusions. So in the conclusion, we found that all three independent constructs, which are investor knowledge, investor profit, investor benefit, give significant effect on dependent variable, which is independent accepted. So in addition, that all three hypotheses also were accepted. And that's why we need the issue that the public is accepting this new construct model and agree that the new mathematical formation of unit trust could attract to participate them in Islamic unit trust if this model will available in the market one day. In addition, also suggested to the unit trust company to implement. If the participant need this kind of unit trust, so the company of management company or unit trust need to take this formulation or the study as their product one day for them to spread in the market, maybe in Malaysia, maybe after this formula has been accepted among us, maybe we can go to the overseas. We can do it in Indonesia or in Soviet, another country in Soviet Asia. Okay. Next, this is my reference. Has been used for my study for the article. Next, reference. So we got 3 pages of the reference. Mostly the reference for my study. And the last one, I want to say thank you for inviting me as a keynote speaker. You can see the paper, over here say Quran, is it? Newspaper say Quran. In the Quran, they say perkasa produk patuh syariah. So in Malaysia, for Islamic trust, Islamic product is very, is right, is very like goreng pisang panas. People like it because it less risk. It's very low risk in this product. That's why they like the Islamic product. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope I can join another conference one day, and maybe next year I hope I can attend another conference in Indonesia. I really miss Indonesia so much, actually for the food and so for the beautiful scenery of the Indonesia. I think that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Riza, for your excellent presentation as you shared about Islamic concept in mathematics. So now we're coming to the discussion session. I have 2 questions for you, Prof. Riza. This question is from Mr. Fahrudin from UM Banten. The question is how to implement it. Can it also be implemented in other fields, for example, in education field? And the second question from Yahdi, STTM Muhammadiyah Tangerang. What is the next research? That is the question. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, in Malaysia, it's very difficult to implement. Firstly, we must go for the cabinet. For the Bank Negara. So the Bank Negara, we ask the management of the company of unit trust. They will ask whether they like it or not. That's why they need propose the data, how many people will like it or not. They will get value or not. Even they got the profit for the respondent like us. but they also can see the profit, whether they get more profit or less profit. So this thing has very long for what in the Bank Negara, very long to get approval. After the Bank Negara approve it, we have to go to the cabinet to discuss between the politician whether this is a good thing or not. So after the cabinet like it or not, they will approve it. My friend also get this kind of problem because too many bureaucration lah. That's why it's delay from the product to release it. Okay, so that is my answer. There is a bureaucration lah. My friend also got this thing. They got takaful for the crop. Also, they also takaful company want it. Bank Negara also approve it, but go to the cabinet got something, so they just delay a KIV for that. So there is the process in Malaysia. It's like that. So, but if Indonesia want it, okay, I can give it, and then we can join it. How to be if we can release it for Indonesia, because in Malaysia there are many, you know, Intakaful company also got advisor in their Islamic compliant, Islamic advisor. So we have to go for that stage first. After that, Bank Negara. After Bank Negara is what cabinet, and after that they can release it, something like that. Okay. So the second question is about what? I forgot the second question.
What is the next research?
The net research. The net research is I got the grant 65K from my government. I would do the model, the index for the mathematics index in start business for the entrepreneur, edible entrepreneur for the bird nest. So in Malaysia, 70% who involved this research mostly fail. Only 30% they just can reach for the victory for that. Then for the they fail in the startup business. Then I do the mathematics in their startup business, how they can they can find whether they can whether to do that business, the entrepreneur in bird nest or not. Whether they can do it by using the mathematic formulations, by using the system. So that is my new research. Okay, that's all.
All right, thanks, Professor Puspaliza, for your explanation about the result of your research study. Once again, thank you very much, Prof. Puspaliza, for your precious time. It's nice to see you. Hope to see you again in the next event. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. And it's very lovely conference. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me introduce to our next keynote speaker, Dr. Andi Mariam, SSD, SKM, MKes. I'm pleased to introduce her. She is a rector of Universitas Indonesia Timur Makassar, and she is also as a Vice Secretary of Central Aptisi, Asosiasi Perguruan Tinggi Swasta Indonesia. All right, Dr. Andi Mariam has joined with us, so now please welcome Dr. Andi Mariam, SSD, SKM, MKes, to deliver her presentation. All right. Dr. Andi Mariam hasn't joined with us. I'm sorry. So let me move to the last keynote speaker. He is Associate Professor Dr. Al-Bahra, SCOM, MCOM. Okay. Let me introduce Professor Al-Bahra in advance. Professor Al-Bahra is a lecturer at the postgraduate study program in informatics engineering, Universitas Raharja, Tangerang. He got doctoral program of educational technology in Universitas Negeri Jakarta. He had written 20 computer science textbooks and 5 Islamic books for public and university students. He also has published more than 400 articles on Aqidah, Sharia, morality, worship, and Sirah. In addition, he also becoming chief editor, executive editor, and becoming literary partner, as well as expert editor of 33 national scientific journals in the fields of computer science, education, midwifery, nursing, public health, pharmacy, environmental health, and so many more. All right, without further ado, I'm honored to invite Associate Professor Dr. Al-Bahra Escom MCom. Time is yours. You have 20 minutes here.
Yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I wish you Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning for our brothers in non-Muslim people. Next. Yeah. For the very first time, I'd like to come in introduction of my presentation. The epidemic of coronavirus or COVID-19 has caused every individual's daily activity to change drastically. This makes a tremendous change in all areas. A few moments later, a policy was issued for each regional head, including closing schools and all educational institutions. Since then, learning from home has become an obligation for preschool children. Students and college students, around 7.5 million students and nearly 45 million primary and secondary school students, as well as tens of millions of preschool children were forced to do learning from home. This incident caused technological disruption in the world of education. Face-to-face learning, which is carried out 100% in schools, suddenly underwent a very drastic change. This directly affects students who come from low and middle income communities. Learning from home feel very burdensome for educators, students, and all lines of society are forced to change their living habits and adapt during this pandemic condition. Departing from this condition, online learning is the only solution. Some people say that during this pandemic, they have been doing online learning. Besides that, there are also those who say learning by e-learning. There are even some people who say distance learning has been running. Next. Yeah, next. Yeah. We come to the issue. The issue was used in the understanding of some educators, teachers, and lecturers, and students who think that online meetings or web conference are the same as electronic learning or e-learning. So that some of those who are running online meetings or web conferences during this pandemic state that they are doing electronic learning or assume that they are doing distance learning. In addition, some universities based on information technology who base of expertise for lecturers and students are information technology are competing to create an application called e-learning by utilizing the latest features and specification in programming languages so that their e-learning application is very up to date. However, However, questions arise that need to be answered or to be evaluated by the person in charge of e-learning, so that the e-learning used can produce result in accordance with the correct concept of electronic learning. The questions are, first, is the e-learning application very up to date, or its contents relevant to the learning objectives of all teaching materials used by all lecturers? Second, does the learning process use cooperative or expository learning strategies or inquiry or other learning strategies? Because the right learning strategy is able to elaborate all aspects of students' behavior in an integrated manner, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor abilities. Third, what learning strategies has been set to be used in the learning application? This allows for synchronous e-learning or asynchronous e-learning. All of the questions, sorry. Yeah, all of the questions mentioned above must be answered because concept of e-learning is a set of instructions delivered through digital devices such as desktop computers, laptop, tablets, or smartphones, with the aim of supporting the learning process. The keyword supports the learning process, meaning that the e-learning application that is built learning the content of the e-learning application has been validated by experts in the field of information technology and experts in their field of education. Just as an information technology expert builds an expert system to detect ear, nose, throat disease, an expert system will function properly is involved or has been validated by one or more ear, nose, throat specialists. Why is that? Because an information technology expert is unlikely to understand various questions, regulations related to ear, nose, throat disease. Electronic learning management. The application of learning model is an educational institution of university must pay attention to design, application, and management or maintenance of the learning model so that it can be sustainable and have an impact of its implementation. Utilization of information technology in the learning process, such as e-learning, not only requires to the skills of educators in using information technology tools to design teaching materials, but educators must have reliable abilities and skills in making instructional design so that learning can run effectively. Instructional design is a dynamic process that will always change based on information and evaluation results that have been carried out. Instructional design aims to improve student learning outcomes so that learning objective can be achieved. First, lesson plan or lesson planning. Learning planning or lesson planning is a representation of various activities and actions that will be carried out during the learning process. In other words, the application of e-learning based learning planning consists of plans and an overview of the learning process that utilize computer networks. The scope of learning planning includes four main components, namely objective, teaching materials, learning activities, and evaluation. Material design and manufacturing. Content of learning materials play a very important role because they are directly related to the learning process and students. Content is a learning object that can be used as a standard for e-learning success. The e-learning system must be able to first provide educator-centered content, namely instructional content that is procedural, declarative, and well-defined. Second, provide learner-centered content, namely instructional content that is more direct and developing creativity and maximizing independence. Third, provide case example for each material so that it is easy for students to practice. For adding content such as educational games as a practice tools for students. Submission of learning. Learning with e-learning is a learning process that always use information technology to enrich the learning environment with a variety of interesting content with a wide scope and can deliver various solutions to improve student skills and capabilities. Each learning model must contain the formulation of the organization of teaching materials, learning strategies, and management of learning activities by taking into account of factors of learning, objective, and barriers, as well as students' characteristics. Why is that? Because learning is how to prepare a student to overcome the problems they face today, as well as prepare creative students to find ways to overcome the problems they will face tomorrow. Yeah. We are still in analysis issue. Yeah. Learning media for issue, learning media is one of the external factors that affect the success of the learning process. Learning media serves to facilitate interaction between lecturers and students so that the learning process takes place effectively and efficiently. The success of e-learning is supported by interactions between lecturers and students, as well as the occurrence of active learning models in this interaction. And learning process by utilizing learning media can be done by considering the use of media and then combining it with learning theory in particular. The different requirements for learning outcomes should be compatible with the characteristic of the media to be used. In such a combination, rapidly changing scenes and other than usual visual stimulate are very effective in controlling student attention by paying attention to the criteria for the effectiveness of media. The use of media does not have a big influence on student learning achievement, but the memory factor will also affect students' learning achievement. So using a learning model and determining the learning media used is also very necessary to improve students' memory skills. Evaluation of learning process and implementation. The fifth subject in e-learning. Evaluation is indicator tool for assessing the achievement of predetermined goals and assessing the overall learning implementation process. evaluation of the learning process is very useful for teachers or lecturers and institutional leaders as a decision-making material related to the learning process. Evaluation of the learning process aims to improve and optimize learning activities in order to improve students' learning outcomes. This evaluation is the responsibility of teachers or lecturers and institutional leaders. The criteria used to carry out learning evaluation are in line with activities written in the learning program. Implementation by teachers. Implementation in terms of students. Attention shown by students toward ongoing learning. Based on the result of evaluation of the learning process with the above criteria, the teachers can make a decision to replace the component of the learning process because they are not appropriate. Increase them because there are still criteria that have not been met, or maintain them because they are in accordance with the established criteria. Next. Yeah, we come into discussion based on the analysis of the issue raised. The policy makers in university need to conduct a total evaluation of the e-learning that has been running so far. The evaluation does not only look at the use of information technology devices, but must also record the relevance of all content to the learning objectives, identify several possible learning strategies for use by lecturers. So the relevance of content and the use of appropriate learning strategies will facilitate the implementation of process evaluation and implementation of learning on synchronous e-learning and asynchronous e-learning. The successful implementation of process evaluation and learning implementation will result in learning outcomes from electronic learning at the university that meet the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor aspect. A total evaluation also need to be carried out on the validation of the implementation of e-learning and the university with several aspects. A total evaluation also need to be carried out on the validation of the implementation of e-learning at the university with several experts in the field of information technology and education. Next. Yeah. The summary of this subject, the COVID-19 pandemic turned out to have a positive impact on our education world. So we had the opportunity to provide an understanding that online learning with web conferences is the smallest part of electronic learning on e-learning. E-learning is a set of instructions delivered through digital devices with the aim of supporting the learning process. So the content of the e-learning application must have been validated by experts in the field of information technology and expert in the field of education. Thank you for this presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Bahro, for your informative presentation about controversy between web conferencing and the concept of e-learning. So now we come to the last discussion session. I hope you don't miss these golden opportunities to discuss with some expert in today's conference. And now I have a question from Mr. Budi Hendrawan from Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasikmalaya. Could you tell us, so what is the next research? What is your next research? What is your next research after this?
The question?
What is the next research after your field study in this research result study?
Yeah. The next research after we talk about controversy between web conferencing and the concept of e-learning, we should research in some university or some school about how many sorry. Yeah, we would like to know about how many strategy in learning that some teacher on some lecturer have used in the university. And we should know the evaluation process. If is the evaluation process have running smoothly accordance to the evaluation process in education. And the other question and the other point is we should know all the university has used e-learning, all of the models, all the lesson plan has been used standardized or not? Because there will be mass we should know about the lesson consists of the module, lesson plan, and so on, because there will be very many modules that has been used, but it is not accordance with target of study. So the next research we should know about the strategy of this strategy of learning, then evaluation, and lesson planning of all the subject in e-learning. Yeah, that's
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Bahra, for your answer. Um, so thank you very much for the audience who has active in this conference. Now we will move to the next, the last keynote speakers. Okay. Let me introduce the last our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Insinyur H.M. Kusmawan, MSc MBA DBA from STTM Muhammadiyah, Tangerang. So without further ado, please welcome Professor Kusmawan. You have 20 minutes here. Time is yours.
Siap. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, moderator, for this opportunity for me. Okay. Do you have my? Okay. So my topic is about. Excuse me. Yeah. Now, I have changed a little bit. That my topic is about problems that we may concern. Yeah. After hearing some of the presentation, so I try to have a conclusion, something like that. That there are problems concerning education, health, and so forth. The first is facing the challenging in the new normal era. Yeah, the situation like that. For example, all of us are using masks. It is the situation that in the normal era, and we cannot gather more people, maybe 100 and so forth. Yeah, we only very limitation people to stay together in the something room like that. Now the second one is world challenging. Uh, what kind of the changing in the world after there are a lot of change, and the new problems will arise, and how to find alternative solution. Maybe this is only a suggestion, yeah, not the final of conclusion to have a solution. This is my curriculum vitae. So later you can check in later. You can check later. Here I am in lecture in Ahmad Dahlan, STTM, Trisakti, and whatever in Jakarta. I'm a consultant in a consultant company, and formerly I'm the chairman of STI Ahmad Dahlan and chairman of STTM. What issue makes world change? Technology, politics, environment, and social movement. All of them make our world change. Yeah, a lot of them. This is example of change from closeness to openness. Yeah? Maybe formally we cannot discuss with our boss, yeah, but now everything must be open. The second, from traditional tools to modern application. Yeah? So, but in the past time, we only using type machine, but now there is no type machine anymore. Yeah, we always use computer and even application. Yeah, maybe people not only adults but children also understand about application. From repressive condition to democratic. Yeah, Indonesian in the past time there is very repressive, so we cannot speak. Yeah, speak freely, but now we can speak freely because our country slowly but sure go to democratic. From directive to participative. Yeah, maybe in the past time you have to do something by people. Oh, sorry, sorry. Neglect. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Formally, we cannot speak freely. Yeah. We have a limitation to speak. We cannot speak that, something like that. From unhuman to human orientation. Uh, the director, for example, must take care of their employee because now we have what's called human orientation. From old technology to new technology, from health condition to pandemic. That's the problem. Last time we can come to office, but now we have what's called WHY, work from WFH, work from home, from pessimistic to optimistic, hope for the future, please do not pessimistic to see the world, otherwise we are left behind by others. Understanding industrial revolution, I heard from some of the speaker talking about number one, revolution industry one, from manual to machine, rev industry two, from machine to electrical, rev industry three, from electrical to computerization. Now come to industry four, from computer to application, new technology, internet, and so on. And later on, we went to what's so-called social development, more human. Technology must be taken to be more human. What the consequence? Stay positive. First, changing environment, life more easy to face. Politics become good condition. Employment more and open to all. Borderless, so we can work in Malaysia, in somewhere. Love each other and harmonize. Mutual cooperation among our countries. Cheap and high quality performance in education. Quality in achievement in many fields. All people have equality. Have ability to achieve everything in many fields. Good government, good corporate governments, and good implement of religious teaching. We hope, especially for the Muslim, we are coming to a very good implementation in religious teaching. The negative must be dropped out. The positive come and the negative must come. What is the negative? Corruption, disobey of religious order, intolerance and quarrel each other, do not love each other, reject the progress, environment destruction, bad behavior, troublemaker, and religion. That is a negative must be dropped out. Some suggestion for solution of the problem. First, develop religion faith in everything. Develop tolerance and brotherhood, religion and cooperation, optimistic in works, optimization using facility, maintain environment, optimization work with wise, and develop love each other in many things. Finally, thanks a lot for all of you to keep staying up to the end of the presentation. Have a benefit meeting in Indonesia. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Kusmawan, for your insightful presentation. It's nice to see you Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the end of session, so I would like to thank to all speakers who have shared their knowledges, experiences, and their insight in today's conference. I'm sure it must be have the beneficial for us as an educator and researcher. Thank you, Mr. Adam Jerusalem. Thank you, Professor Sundara Pandian from India. Thank you, Professor Puspaliza from Malaysia. Thank you, Professor Al-Bahra and Professor Kusmawan from Tangerang. So I invite all participants to give a big round of applause for our speakers in today's conference. Okay, I believe even the speakers cannot hear it, but they can feel the energy of your sincerity. Thank you very much, and I would like to thank to you all participants for active participation. Thank you for the host and co-hosts who have been supporting this event. Thank you for all committee of the First Tangerang International Conference 2021. Thank you for all participants for having a productive time with us. Thank you for your attention. Please step over apologize if there are some inconveniences. Thank you for participating in today's conference. It's nice to see you and keep healthy and keep positive thinking. I'm Mrs. May and hope to see you again next time in the second Tangerang International Conference 2022. Goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Luck.
warahmatullahi
Di paparan sungai jahat,
Tinggalin dulu mesin.
laksana asih kuat imut bagja tidak rasa aduh
Arif Juniarto mana sih orangnya mana sih? Dia bukan sekelas sama kita ya? Teknik industri ya?
Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta pertama kali berdiri pada tahun 1984 dengan nama SPK Harum. Kemudian seiring perjalanannya pada tahun 1999 SPK Harum mengalami konversi menjadi pendidikan diploma 3 keperawatan dengan nama Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta seperti yang kita kenal sampai saat ini. Pusat kegiatan yang berlokasi di Jalan Cumi nomor 37 Jakarta Utara merupakan salah satu lokasi strategis berdekatan dengan pusat kegiatan. Di antaranya adalah Rumah Sakit Sukmo Medika, Terminal Tanjung Priok, Pelabuhan Tanjung Priok, dan Stasiun Tanjung Priok, serta perkantoran milik pemerintah swasta maupun BUMN. Sampai dengan tahun 2017, Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta telah menjalani beberapa kali proses akreditasi, baik dari Badan Akreditasi Nasional Perguruan Tinggi maupun dari Lembaga Akreditasi Mandiri Perguruan Tinggi Kesehatan. Dengan rahmat dan ridho Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, nilai akreditasi tahun terakhir yang diraih oleh Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta adalah B. Seperti pendidikan tinggi keperawatan pada umumnya, Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta menerapkan sistem kurikulum tahun 2014 dengan jumlah satuan kredit semester sebesar 112 SKS. Selain menerapkan mata kuliah berbasis keperawatan sesuai dengan kurikulum, Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta mempunyai beberapa keunggulan dengan adanya ekstrakurikuler seperti pelatihan kegawat daruratan, kesehatan dan keselamatan kerja, one care management, serta keterampilan dalam menggunakan gawat darurat yang tertuang dalam mata kuliah mobilisasi dan transportasi. Hal ini tentunya sesuai dengan visi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta, yaitu menjadikan program Diploma 3 Keperawatan yang terpercaya di Provinsi DKI Jakarta dengan mengedepankan mutu, berwawasan global, serta memiliki keunggulan kegawat daruratan secara profesional pada tahun 2023. Tahun 2020 adalah tahun yang penuh cobaan. Pada awal tahun ini, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa memberikan ujian sebuah pandemi, masalah kesehatan yang sampai saat ini masih bergulir. Dengan kekuatan doa, upaya tiada henti dan rasa kebersamaan kemanusiaan, Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta berusaha untuk menghadapi masa-masa sulit ini dengan berbagai kegiatan dan usaha untuk ikut meringankan dampak dari pandemi COVID-19. Selain mengerahkan para alumni untuk menjadi relawan, para mahasiswa pun digerakkan untuk turun membantu secara langsung dengan tetap mengikuti protokol kesehatan. Selain itu, Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta turut pula berpartisipasi dalam penyelenggaraan pemberian bantuan uang kuliah tunggal bersama dengan Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia yang diperuntukkan bagi beberapa mahasiswa semester 3 dan semester 5. Untuk ikut memutus mata rantai penyebaran COVID-19, Kampus Akademi Keperawatan Harum Jakarta menerapkan juga protokol kesehatan baik dalam perkuliahan di kelas secara virtual maupun pembelajaran praktikum di laboratorium. Kita semua berharap dengan doa yang tiada putus. Semoga Allah Subhanahu wa taala, Tuhan yang Maha Pengasih, segera mengangkat pandemik ini sehingga kita dapat menjalani kehidupan secara normal, kembali bertemu dengan keluarga dan sahabat tercinta dengan tetap menerapkan pola hidup yang lebih sehat, bermartabat dan berakhlak dengan peningkatan kualitas keimanan kita kepada Tuhan yang Maha Esa.